Thank you everyone for consenting. Thank you very much. So as I said, we have a few members of our team here, and I will introduce you to them a little later. But I also want to ask you if you have questions, and some of you have already sent me questions in the email, which I'm really happy about because I'll be answering them later on. But if you have questions along the way as I speak, do not hesitate to put them in the chat, and we will make sure that we answer all of your questions today. You know, I'm nostalgically looking at this picture. This is the center of our campus in Washington Square Park in New York City, and I'm confident that very soon we're going to be back on campus. But this program is also online, so there's no interruption whatsoever given the situation we're in. So we're going to tell you more about the program in a minute. But first, geographically, let me orient you to New York University. We're very, very proud to be working at the university. It's a very strong educational global brand. As you can see on the usual graduation dates, the whole city of New York lights up in purple. And this is an Empire State Building in the heart of Manhattan, lit up in purple in honor of our graduates, NYU graduates. And you see people all over the city. Obviously, this year is an exception. But New York University, a couple of words about us, is the largest private university in the United States. And we are situated in the School of Professional Studies. In total, at NYU, there are 22 different schools, including 2 international campuses, full campuses in Abu Dhabi, in Shanghai, as well as 13 other global sites. So we're a very large global university with a center in New York City. Our program is also situated in the division of the programs in business, and the mission of our division, we have programs in marketing, project management, management technology, and human resource management. The mission of these programs is to really prepare you for the workplace, give you qualifications that are relevant on day one after you graduate. And even during your classes, most of our students are either working or are taking internships and are already connected to the business. And here in the heart of it is our program in human capital analytics and technology. This is a unique program in the United States and in the world, really, where we focus on technology and analytics and how they are transforming the HR profession. There was one question, I think, from Emily in the email to me about the jobs. I am going to make sure that we talk about it at length, but I do want to say that most of the jobs are transitioning to being powered by analytics, technology, digital, etc. So the skills that you're going to learn here are going to be immediately applicable and very desirable in the job market. So a little bit of the benefits of being at NYU. So we are obviously located in New York City and around the world. You're going to find our alumni all over the world, in all parts of this planet, which is always very rewarding. If you travel, if you work for international companies, you will always find NYU graduates. We are also based in New York City, and our department is in New York City, and we will show you where people end up in terms of jobs, where they find employment. Our track record for employment is pretty good, I would say. Obviously, all the data applied to pre-COVID. We're going to see what this year is going to look like, but our relationships with the companies are really making us confident that our students will always find good employment. Our general track record is about 97.3%. That's last year's data of our students find employment within 6 months. And we're going to show you a lot more detail on where people end up, what kinds of jobs they get, etc. And I welcome those questions from you as well. We have a very diverse student community, as you can imagine. New York City is really the whole United Nations, if you want. Seriously, we have a good relationship, strong relationship with the United Nations. And you're going to be in the classrooms with students from all over the world, which is always very, very rewarding. Our faculty are very special faculty. They are not only academically strong, but they're also working professionals. So it's not that you are just going to get professors who have not worked in the businesses, in consulting and other fields. All of our faculty have had very significant professional careers. So that's what they bring to the classroom, not only theoretical knowledge, but they also bring practical expertise. And as I mentioned, global education, and I'm going to show you a bit more about it. Again, if there are any connection issues, I apologize, just hang in there. They're going to go. As you can see, this is a STEM designated program. Again, unique program in people management, human resource management at the same time, with the strong foundations in technology and analytics. When we launched the program last year, there was a lot of coverage in the media. I was interviewed a lot by the different sites, different publications, and it was very well received. These are some of our faculty. You see myself here. I'm the academic director. I teach the immersion, the very first class. I will tell you about it. We have Dr. Michael Valentine, who is teaching quantitative methods, research methods, and also overseeing the thesis for those students who want to pursue thesis. And then and a few pictures of our faculty who are very, very professionally, strong, and along with, again, a very solid academic credentials. So this is our administrative team. I'm always very grateful to be working with our team here. Heather, who you might have seen emails from, she's actually helping me technically with this, operating this session. Nicole, Assistant Director for Graduate Programs, she's going to be speaking later on. And Cheryl is not available today. We're going to have Alicia talk about admissions later on. And Corey Faraday, some of you might have heard from Corey. Corey is fully dedicated to making student experience really unique, and is working with each and every one of our students individually. So, why choose HCAT? HCAT is kind of an acronym we use for this program. Why choose it? By the way, all the pictures I use here are pictures of our students and different activities. So as I'm going to be talking to you about some prepared remarks about the importance, et cetera, just take in the images of our students. This is Paula. She's a student of mine, and we were in a conference board conference, virtual conference, and she was speaking about the value of analytics. So why would you choose to focus on or concentrate in analytics and technology at this time? You know, when the majority of HR professionals were asked, or managers were asked, if there was just one skill they would learn, what would that be? As you can see, I'm showing you some statistic here. Overwhelmingly, it was about analytics, it was about digital, it was about strategic workforce planning, design thinking, and these are the skills that this program is going to teach you. Again, this is one of our partners, IBM Corporation. As you know, IBM is the leading technology giant, global company, and our students here on a visit to IBM Experience Center. You see Nicole here as well. She's going to speak a little bit about that as well later. So just to give you an example of where our students go, we take you to all of these companies on the inside. They are powering AI innovation, including innovation in HR. So a little bit about HCAT degree. It's an accelerated degree. 30 credits is the least credits you can get and complete a Master of Science credential. 14 courses total. We give you a lot of choice. But there are some requirements. So it's the 14 courses, you will have core requirements and you will have electives. And right now, given COVID, we have almost all online format. And there is a low residency on-site component, but we believe that this year it's also going to be online. However, starting in the spring, we're going to introduce the in-person classes as well. And we will make sure that the experience of actually, for those of you who are able, the experience of coming to campus and studying here is by all means available. So you have a full-time option, and in person, which will be available in the spring with full visa support and obviously all of the benefits associated with that, as well as online options. And it is designed for professionals at all levels. As you will see, there are people who are coming straight after undergraduate, and there are people who are in the mid or even senior roles in their profession already and just getting the skills upgrade. Another picture of our class, and this is the class I teach, the immersion experience, where we go to different organizations. It's very interactive, very applied class. Week long. This time we are going to do it online because of the COVID situation. But it brings really all the students together. We are going to make sure that whatever experience you have, whether online or in person, we are going to build a very strong cohort of you moving through the classes. You will see there's a lot of bonding, a lot of really amazing connections that people build, not just with myself, I'm teaching this class, but also with all of our faculty and among themselves, which is really, really important for all the professional and personal purposes. So just to give you a sense of what the course sequence for full-time might be, let's say you are studying full-time, you want to accelerate and finish the program in 1 year, that's available to you. I have to say it requires dedication and a lot of work. And we will tell you also, I'll tell you how to make it easier on yourself with some additional options. But this is what your curriculum would look like in first semester fall. People organizational management, I teach it. We have quantitative methods and metrics for decision making, managing the analytics function, managing complex projects, and business communications. As you can see, you can take 3 credit classes, which run through the whole semester. And we have a broad variety of classes with just 1.5 credits, which means 6 weeks only. And they allow you to have a lot of exposure to issues, to practices, to tools, as well as different faculty within the span of 1 year. So you can see workforce planning, financial management, information systems, and some of my favorites electives. Digital workplace design class, very popular. Intelligent automation that looks at AI, robotics, and other machine learning and other types of automation. Algorithmic responsibility, the role of diversity, the role of bias, and storytelling with data, data visualization. That's the recommended full-time second semester. And in the summer, and we're going through this now, you have a capstone, which is taking place at one of our partner organizations. It could be also taken online, as well as electives. I'm teaching current issues, current trends, and agile methods in organizations. So that's what, at a glance, a curriculum for 1 year program looks like. There is an option you can see here for a thesis, and some of our students prefer to opt out of capstone and work on their research and thesis, and that option is also available. I will take all of your questions at the end. So this is what your part-time schedule might look like. And that is if you choose to do it in 2 years. But you have up to 5 years to finish the program. So am I correct, Nicole? 5 years?
Yes, that's correct.
So this is the recommendation for finishing the program in 2 years. And you're going to get a lot of support on doing this. So for you a lot of questions I always get speaking with potential candidates about what people need to know. Lots of concern about what if I don't have a strong quantitative or technology background. What do I do? We actually thought this through, and we are running a quantitative boot camp in the summer, as you can see, July, August, that you can take at a discount. If you are an enrolled student in the master's degree, you're getting it at a significant discount, but it really is a much recommended pathway for you to go through and get ready. And as you can see, the classes we offer are in advanced Excel, database management with SQL, data visualization with Tableau, and Python, the programming language. And all of this, you're already beginning to bond with the students. By the way, this summer, we have quite a few students from the current program taking the boot camp. Recommended, and it really prepares you well for the classes that come in the fall. I will be happy to answer your questions about it. And finally, and obviously with COVID, everything is on hold right now, but we also take advantage of our global campuses. This last year, I took a group of our students to Abu Dhabi, where we have a phenomenal campus, and we were studying international issues as well as issues related to the introduction of, you know, new technologies and analytics relevant everywhere in the world. And some of you know, some of you have experience with other economies, and you know how urgent it is. We have very strong relationship with Abu Dhabi and Shanghai, for example, and working on some projects over there as well. And so at this point, I think it will be great for you to hear from one of our graduates who is now also an instructor and is teaching actually in the boot camp. And I want to invite Amar to say a few words about your background, your experience with the program, and also about the boot camp that we're running.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anna. Thank you for inviting me. It sounds so strange, like 4 years ago when I moved to US, exactly 3 years ago, I was in a similar information session for HRND program. 2 years ago, I started the program. Last year, I graduated. And today, I just launched the HR certificate program just a few hours ago. So it sounds so interesting, but it's also exciting that the journey has been so nice. So my background, as you can see, I'm a bachelor's in computer science and applied statistics, have a quantitative background, was in investment banking for 11 years, including 6 years of leadership experience. And that's where I got a bit more involved in the human capital aspects of things, of decision-making, how you identify the right team members, how you engage team, how you analyze those things. So I started working with HR, helping them look at these aspects from the quantitative point of view, along with my strategy work, which was I doing in the capital markets. And then when I moved to US, I wanted to do a PhD in organizational behavior, something which I'm very passionate about. And that's why how I met Anna. And then I expressed my interest in studying human resources, organizational effectiveness. And that's how I got involved in the program. I did it in 15 months, quick, fast track. The best part was like I got a chance to involve in so many other things. Case study competitions. We just started in 2018, first case study competition. Went on to become the finalist, and then the next year I was first runners up. So it is collectively a wonderful experience, learning the human capital as well as engaging on other stuff. Plus, we had so many site visits to the campuses, to the companies, and learning about what they are doing on the human capital side. So overall, these things strengthen me, and when I'm now applying for a PhD, it gives me a lot of confidence. And last year, after graduating, I was doing workshops on analytics and Excel for students, understanding that a lot of my colleagues were finding this challenging to look at things from a quantitative way. And that's how Anna approached me for the certificate program, and we started working, and I'm so happy that we launched it today, this morning. And the bootcamp is also part of it. So I'll be engaged, I'll be working with most of the students here, and we'll get to see them in the future boot camps, and we'll be running this continuously so that every student get a good sort of foundation in analytics of data sort of confidence in data management sort of thing before we get them take up the course. So happy to take up any questions at the end, but yeah, that's it from me. But thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you everyone.
Thank you, Amar. I'm just showing the case competition to the left. This was with Pfizer and Adobe as our sponsors, and to the right, one of our Python workshops, right? That, you will see. And there's some more events that we do with the students. People Analytics Symposium, and I'm actually going to extend an invitation to you all. And then right from the get-go, all of our students participated in this session with New York Analytics Meetup. Everyone is meeting online right now, but in those days it was in person, and this is all on exactly the question that at the top of everyone's mind right now is the careers in people analytics. So I just wanted to show, okay, so Shruti, I'm going to answer those questions a little later, okay? We do have an answer to your question. So a few more, like Amar mentioned, these are all the different visits to different companies that we go and connect. And you're all going to receive an invitation to our student showcase from this year's program. It's called From Data to Performance, and they're going to show their best work. It will be on Thursday, August 20th. And because we have your email addresses, we're going to make sure that you are invited so you can come and actually experience what the quality of work and the kinds of, you know, projects that our students are working on. And by the way, as you know, some of you, we are very happy to connect you with other students. Amar is definitely a terrific resource. He was a student and now he's teaching for us in the certificate program, but we are also happy to connect you with students, current students, if you are interested. Questions about internships and relationships that we have. As I mentioned, we have a very strong relationship with the United Nations. We have our students interning there. Interesting global organizations like Wildlife Conservation Society. They have, they're actually operating all of the zoos around the world, and our students have interned for them as well, learned a tremendous amount. And on the corporate side, we are developing very strong, as you know, we have a lot of faculty from IBM. We actually collaborated with IBM to develop this program. Willis Towers Watson is a leading HR consultancy, and these are just examples of companies that we have. Pfizer, Adobe, those are the companies we work with, and many others. About jobs. So these are the data from last year graduating. As you can see, the majority of our students, I mentioned 97.3% of our students get jobs right away. And you can see here on the breakdown, people, about 50% of our students get more than one offer. We have 2 offers, 3 and 4. Our students are very much in demand. Interestingly enough, you can see the geography. The majority of students settle in New York area, which doesn't mean that they necessarily stay there or stay here for all the time. A lot of times they stay around New York working for multinationals for a couple of years, and then they go other places. So it's New York, New Jersey, California, Massachusetts, and then you see global locations for employment. These are the data that we just got from last year graduates. So these are the industry placements, and you can see the percentages of students landing in those industries. Obviously, New York is the center for financial services, so lots of financial services jobs, education, teaching, marketing, advertising, and you can just go down here, the list, and you can see the full range of different industries. And the beauty of being in human resources is that we can work in all of those industries. You know, there are HR professionals anywhere, everywhere, and people with the skills with analytics and technology. And this doesn't even include startups and various smaller organizations that we are involved in. So these are our certificates I mentioned. Student support, and And I want to invite Nicole to walk us through what kind of support students get at NYU.
Thank you so much, Anna. Like Anna stated earlier, my name is Nicole Howe. I am the Assistant Director for Human Capital Management Programs here at SPS. I'm also a former advisor within the same division, and I'm a recent alum. So I'm pretty well versed in the student experience and student support services, so I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about that at the end of the session. Here we wanted to really support, we wanted to highlight how we're supporting students, especially during this really challenging time with the COVID pandemic. We have online synchronous class instruction and learning platforms that were already online. So we were able to continue that service, and maintaining continuity was paramount for us, and sustaining the level of service and the high touch experience that we were providing our students. We're also offering one-on-one advising and group advising sessions online to maintain the quality of information exchange and supporting our students. So one way we're doing that is through academic advising. There's a dedicated advisor, his name is Corey, for the HCAT program, and the advising team is here to support all students. So even if you're a prospective student, you have the opportunity to take advantage of that service, and we highly recommend it. So if you have any questions about the academic experience, Corey would be the person to speak to. And then once admitted, students are assigned to Corey, and he really helps you throughout your academic journey from beginning to end. We also have an Office of Global Services that is offering virtual services for visas, travel, and work authorization during this time, and will continue to do so even when we're back on campus. In addition, we're continuing weekly programming, resources and professional development recommendations to advance your career or even launch a new career. And the Wasserman Center is a really critical part of that, which I'll speak about in a moment. And lastly, the Entrepreneurial Institute runs the Leslie eLab, which is a really unique and innovative offering that we have here on campus. Basically, it's a multi-purpose space with co-working spaces, event spaces, and even a prototyping lab to assist students who want to start a venture. So it's like a one-stop shop for entrepreneurship, and we're really proud of that here at NYU. All right. We're also maintaining continuity with the services we're offering through NYU libraries. So students can still access materials online like they would be able to in person. And there's also live research support. So students are able to complete their assignments no problem by taking advantage of those resources. And lastly, NYU is very much committed to health and wellness. The health center is open during remote learning. We're receiving continual updates by university leadership and the Student Health Center on COVID-19 facts, on the university's response to the pandemic, and recommendations for students' mental and physical health. And lastly, the Wellness Exchange, which is our 24-hour mental health resource, remains operational during the pandemic. All right. Next slide. The Wasserman Center for Career Development is an incredible resource here at the university. I would say it's one of the most important resources to take advantage of during your time here. It's award-winning, and their services are very comprehensive. Their whole philosophy is taking you on this career journey and really meeting you where you are, wherever at any point in your career journey. So as you can see in this diagram, it's a cyclical process. And it's ongoing. It's not a linear process with a start and an end. So there are several phases. That's self-assessment, market assessment, exploring and deciding, taking action, and continuing to manage that career journey. And the Wasserman Center offers a lot of different formats. The first is networking events and opportunities. They bring a lot of employers to campus. Handshake is a platform they use to post jobs and internships and even events. They offer 30-minute career advising appointments, 15-minute drop-in appointments, self-assessment tools such as Myers-Briggs and the Strengths Assessment, a ton of online resources, everything from resume resources to interviewing to networking, and virtual and in-person workshops.
Yeah, the one thing I want to add to what you call again is students usually are focused on the academic side, and especially when you research your programs and you're trying to decide where to go. And I want to encourage you not to underestimate the importance of networking, the importance of connections, the importance of this type of support. This is why we get such amazing results with placements of our students, because we cultivate those relationships with organizations, global companies, recruiters, all the time. So you are coming into a very well-developed, very well-networked system that helps you right from the get-go to get to start looking at what's the return on my investment here, where will I end up, and start having the right conversation from the very beginning, from your professors who are in these companies already and make recommendations for you, to this whole center with the resources, networking opportunities, connections to companies, etc. So it's very, very rich. And so the career outcomes, again, we just talked about it. That's from the Wasserman perspective. We just looked at, class of 2019. What's really interesting about these data is that, the most of job offers people got before graduation. And then within 3 months of graduation, and more than 3 months of graduation, 22%. But as you can see, the majority of the students actually get employed before they even finish the program. So these are some of the employers that question came up. And these are just sample employers. There's many, many more. Because NYU graduates are very much in demand. So graduate admissions, we will address your questions. Please keep them coming. As I said, I have some questions in the emails, but I also see some in the chat. Keep the questions coming. And now I want to invite Alicia to talk about applications and things.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Alicia Hauser, and I am the current admissions officer for the Human Capital Analytics and Technology program. And so now we're going to go over a bit of the admissions requirements as well as the criteria. Currently, applications for both international and domestic students for fall 2020 are open for July the 1st. So the application deadline for both international and domestic is now July the 1st. In addition to that, we made an announcement recently that all applications submitted before June 15th, the application fee will be waived. So I encourage you all to take advantage of that. And so now we're going to move on to the next slide. So now this pretty much highlights a lot of our admissions requirements. There is a $150 application fee, but as I mentioned, if you submit an application before June 15th, the application fee is waived. At the Office of Admissions, we have a holistic review process, which means that we take multiple factors into account when reviewing applications, because we understand that everyone has different backgrounds and what leads them to graduate study. So one of the components for us is the resume, where we look for your full-time experience, part-time experience, as well as any volunteer and school involvements that really relate to the program and the different transferable skills that you will need to be successful in this industry. In addition to that, we have our personal statement that has to be a minimum of 500 words, where you will talk about why you're interested in the program and what you hope to get out of it and how this program can help you achieve your career goals. We also have the 2 letters of recommendation, either from an academic or professional source. So that can be someone who can speak towards their experience with you in the classroom as well as in the work environment. In addition to that, you can upload your unofficial college transcripts with your application. Unofficial transcripts are sufficient for the review process. Then if admitted, you're required to submit your official documents. Additional requirements include our course-by-course transcript evaluation for applicants who attended an institution outside of the United States. So if you attended a foreign institution, you could be asked to complete the course-by-course transcript evaluation. In addition to that, you can be asked to complete the TOEFL, IELTS, and VEP language requirements if you attended an institution in which the medium of instruction was not English. So those are our admissions requirements. So next, we're going to talk about financial aid for our domestic students. So domestic refers to US citizens and permanent residents. So you would, of course, have to complete the FAFSA, which is known as the free application for federal student aid. This would allow us to learn as the institution what additional aid you might need, as well as identify different scholarship loans and grants that you might qualify for. For our domestic applicants, once you complete the FAFSA, you could receive the NYU School of Professional Studies grant. And depending on the course load that you have each semester, there's a certain amount allotted to that, which is also mentioned again here in relation to scholarships. And you can also apply for different private loans, and we list a lot of different search engines that you might want to use on our website. So next we're going to talk about the financial aid for international students. So again, we have a lot of different search engines that we've used in the past with our students, and you can reference a lot of these just so that they refer to international students that are seeking graduate study. In addition to that, there are merit-based scholarships within academic departments, so that is something that I would encourage you all to look into, as well as reach out to our office to learn more. Next, we are going to talk about payment plans. So this is, eligible for both domestic and international. So this is if you choose a route to pay for your own education, you can use the tuition pay plan, which allows you to pay all or a portion of your educational expenses in interest-free monthly installments. We also have the deferred payment plan, which allows you to defer payment of 50% of your bill to a later date. And we have the NYU School of Professional Studies Deferred Tuition Reimbursement Payment Plan, which allows students with employer tuition remissions to defer payment of the portion of the bill that will be reimbursed to the end of the term, typically by your employer. And yes, we can go to the next slide where we list a lot of our contact information, again, for the Office of Admissions. For any admissions related questions, you can always reach out to us. We have the contact information for the Human Capital Management Academic Department for more information about this program, the Office of Global Services for our international students that have questions about the I-20 as well as the visa. Any of your financial aid inquiries can be answered by our financial aid office. And again, our Wasserman Career Center to learn more about, of course, the employment outcomes for our students and additional events that they schedule for NYU students.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. On my camera on, just to make sure if the sound is going to start getting shaky, I'll put myself on, turn off my camera. But a couple of questions that came up. Laura, you are calling from Mexico. I want to connect you with one of our current students, Letty. She is from Mexico as well. And, if you reach out to us, do we have our own details here? Nicole, do we have our own SPS HCM at nyu.edu? That's it to reach directly the department and myself and Nicole. And we are going to set you up with the right people to talk to as well. So I want to connect you with Letty. who will be able to tell you exactly what's involved, and probably is going to be very helpful personally as well. So just shoot us an email and we are going to reply right away. Sonia has a question to, let me see if Laura, our schedule during the working hours. There's not much during the working hours, but there's a lot of work, the homework. If you're a full-time student, Laura, you will have a lot of work to do during the day just to get ready to the class. So let me turn off my camera because it's, yeah. So, but again, I would recommend that you talk to Letitia, because she is a full-time student. I think she's graduating and she just got she's getting a phenomenal job, I think. Amazing. So she usually speaks at these sessions, but she was not available today. So I will connect you, Laura. Send me an email and I'll connect you. All right, there were questions about merit-based scholarships for international students from Shruti. And I think we answered that question. And again, if you have additional questions, write to us directly. Sania is asking Alicia, how can one send IELTS score electronically given the situation? Can I email the test report form number or the scanned result to admissions? She's applied for the waiver, but just want to understand in case it is required. So can you answer that question, yeah. Alicia?
Yes. So Sania, we do accept the IELTS electronically. So if you wanted to submit the IELTS official score, you could do that, and you have to reach out to us at Graduate Admissions, and we can give you our school code, which is 2557. But if you have a copy of your unofficial IELTS score report, you can upload it with your application, or you can email it to me. I will put my email address in the chat because I am the admissions officer for the Human Capital Analytics and Technology program. And once you submit that document to me, I'll attach it to your application.
Okay, Alicia, don't go away. There's one more question. If you are from India and your language of instruction was English all the way, do you still need TOEFL?
So if the language of instruction at your institution was English, if your transcript lists that the medium of instruction is English, that will indicate to us that you don't need to take the TOEFL or IELTS. If that information is not listed on your transcript, you can provide us with a document from your institution or a link to your institution's website where it states that the medium of instruction was English.
Okay, so the answer is yes, if there is a documentation, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so, okay. And by the way, Alicia just sent her email address, personal email. So take a look and send a note to her directly or to me as well. I will, and Heather, why don't you send everyone our emails, your own, as a point person for us. And then we'll take it from there. Another question was about Holly, a really great question about diversity and inclusion. Absolutely, everywhere. All of our classes, you know, talk about this, and I think the future and the solutions to these issues to a large extent have to do with the measurements, with the technology that is making these issues visible and helping us address them. Absolutely. I myself teach social network analysis, for example, and one of the cases I teach is definitely about diversity and inclusion, how you can measure it, how you can accelerate career development, how do you see issues, how do you provide feedback, all of this from the angle of data that really speak to the core issues rather than emotions and pure assumptions. So absolutely, this is a core theme for all of us at NYU. Cassandra. Cassandra is saying that she joined late. Elaborate a little bit. It's if it is important to have programming background to be eligible for the program. So Cassandra, what we recommend, and again, for individual cases, write to us directly, but what we recommend is for students who do not have background, which is the majority of our students, to be honest, is for the majority of our incoming students to take the boot camp in the summer, or the same boot camp will be available in the fall as well. It's just in the fall, it may be in addition to the classes, it's going to be a little bit more burdensome. But if you take those in the summer, even if you take, you know, we're teaching Excel, we're teaching database management, we're teaching Python, and a lot of the students are going through the bootcamp program. We will be able, if you shoot us an email, we're going to send you all the information, and all the incoming students are getting a fraction, you know, really a nominal fee for that, for the boot camp, because they're people who are enrolled in the masters. So we strongly recommend for people without background to take that boot camp. It's very accelerated, very accessible, and Amar is actually teaching. Maybe Amar in a couple of minutes, if we have time, you can say a few words about that. So the full course fee, the question for about the full course or a part-time, I think it's the same fee. There's no difference. It's just that if you are part-time, you're going to pay it out, you know, through several semesters. If you are full-time, obviously you will have to pay the fee faster. So that's my take. Shruti, another question. No problem with having a lot of questions. We love your questions. Keep them coming. Is there a possibility of deferring program joining in case one gets admitted this year for next year fall intake? Absolutely. In fact, we had a couple of cases where people are in the countries where there's a quarantine still, and they've deferred either to the spring or to the fall. So absolutely, but do write to us. And Juhar is asking what the fee is. What is the tuition fee for the program? Alicia, do you have that information?
Yes, I can take this question. So if you intend to enroll for a part-time study, you would be looking at roughly $13,000 each semester or term, and that's if you're taking 6 credits per semester. Now, as Anna mentioned, if you take a full-time course load, which is between 9 to 12 credits, you can be looking at paying roughly $21,000 per term or semester. But again, the amount that you pay depends on how many courses that you're registered for.
Yeah, so the idea per course, and by course we mean individual classes, because sometimes people call program a course, right? And since we have a little bit of time, on Roxana, you are on Laura's iPad, I see that. So just, you already have my email, so I will connect you with Letty. All right, so maybe Amar, a couple of words about why we think it's important to have a little bit of a preparation. Could you?
Sure, Anna, I can take that.
Amar?
Yeah, you can hear me, Anna?
Great. Yep.
Yeah, sure, I'll do it, thank you. So the whole idea is different between HRMD and the HCAT program is, HCAT is more quantitative, analytically driven. So the expectation is that students should have some background of data analysis, a bit of comfort. We don't want them to be an expert, but the whole idea to start this boot camp was to get them comfortable with data, which is key requirement, because as an HCAT student, you'll be expected to do a lot of data analysis, analytics stuff, and the same would be expected when you look for opportunities on the professional side. So this bootcamp will give you a good sort of foundation to start with and be comfortable with. And that's why we picked up things which are in demand. The thing is, like, every HR, they start work, every professional, like, they use Excel in their workplaces. So we thought, how can we use Excel for data analytics for HCM, human capital professionals? Then we thought data visualizing is very important. So we introduced Tableau because that's the future. And then SQL is a core part of any analytics because we work around with a lot of data management. So that is the third part. And the fourth, because eventually we'll be programming, we'll be doing a lot of stuff. So we have Python. And since programming is a core part of it, we have kept 4 sessions of Python, whereas for Excel, Tableau, and for SQL, we have 2 sessions. So this is very helpful. I think everyone should take it. If you think that you really want some foundation in data analytics, it would be really helpful. And that's why we have kept it very recurrent. It's not just one in summer, but we're going to have it in fall and spring as well. So that students can keep coming, they can learn, existing students as well as like the new students, we can serve both of them. Yeah, that's it from me, but anything else?
And just finally, since we only have a couple, so since we only have a couple of minutes left, I want to say that no fear whatsoever. The program is set up in such a way that we grow your skills. We lay them on. The classes are paced in such a way that you learn, you practice, you learn again, you apply. So by the end of the program, you will be very fluent in these skills. That's exactly the whole purpose of the program. So on this note, I want to thank everyone, all of you who signed up, and please reach out with your questions. And I also want to thank the team, as always, for phenomenal partnership on these information sessions. And we hope to see all of you soon. Reach out to us. It's a very, very exciting program. Thank you very much and have a good weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.